My name is Phyllis Golden and I own Trendsetters Hair Design. I'm a hairdresser by trade.
I'm Margaret Somerset and I'm a healthcare lawyer.
My name is Holly Adams and I am currently the county attorney for the County of Ontario.
My name is Amy Ward. I'm executive director at Ferris Hills. It's a senior community operated by Thompson Health.
My name is Glenna Larson, and I'm a special education teacher with Wayne Finger Lakes BOCES. I work out of Red Jacket Education Center.
I am Liz Gilgis, a wife to Kent for 28 years, a mother of 6 children, a homemaker, and a free agent.
I was inspired to get involved in our community here in Canandaigua on 9/11. I watched the towers go down. And I called the office because I knew that we had 3 people in that building, the second building. They thought the 3 lawyers had gotten out, but they didn't. And I realized that day that it could have been me. So I gave notice to my firm, and I moved to Canandaigua, New York. I hung a shingle on a little building, and I started my law practice all over again.
I've had the opportunity also to work with many young girls and mentor them through their careers, like getting started at my shop. And it's wonderful to see them now flourishing in their own careers.
I had a great opportunity when I was a senior in college to work for a Rochester City Court judge. And one day he said to me, "What's your biggest dilemma today, Hal? It's not where you're going to sleep tonight, or it's not whether you have enough food to feed yourself and your family. Your biggest dilemma today is what law school are you going to choose when you leave here?" From that point on, I started looking at things differently. What are the people going through that I'm dealing with? What are the battles that they're fighting that they aren't necessarily talking about, but are there?
A turning point for me in my career was when I found myself divorced and a single mom. I knew I wanted to financially provide for my daughter. So she inspired me to take chances, take risks, take advantage of opportunities as they were offered to us so that I could provide a better life for her. My daughter has told me that I have inspired her, and that's why she became a teacher, and she's a great mom.
I'm going to talk about my younger son who was diagnosed with a specific reading disability when he was in 5th grade. He had a teacher for 2 years that always said he was very smart, but he just didn't try hard enough. So one day he asked, "Mom, how do you try harder?" I thought, well, how do you answer that? So it was because of him and never giving up that I decided to switch my career and go into teaching. If I wanted to do what I loved, I had to go back to college. So at 42, I did that. And at one point, both of my sons and I were in college at the same time.
I used to babysit for a man named Jerry, whose wife was in a coma for 10 years, and his only child was autistic. He would always ask me to babysit on New Year's Eve so that he could drive 3 hours to visit his wife in the nursing home. He went back to school for speech pathology. He started a school for autistic children. He bought a group home so that his daughter would have someplace to live when he could no longer take care of her. His faithfulness and his love and his ability to put that into the action is what really inspired me.
I got involved in my community just by looking around, seeing the need. And it gives me a great feeling of accomplishment, joy, satisfaction, knowing that I've made somebody's day a little bit better just with the little things that I can do that are very simple for me, but almost impossible for the other person. Listening to their stories and learning about their lives and what they've learned over the years is great knowledge.
Every person I talk to has something great to give, and it's just a matter of spending enough time with them to find out what that is. And I think I learned that from my dad. He never said you couldn't do something. He never said you shouldn't do something. He used to say, there's never enough time to do it right, but there's always enough time to do it over. You learn from your mistakes. Every mistake you make, because we're human, teaches us something. We have to learn from our mistakes. If we don't, we're going to repeat them, right?
My dad was on the school board for years. He became school board president. My mom also a part of a number of groups in the community. I remember being very young and going with her on a fairly regular basis to a couple different homes. There was a woman who had pretty severe arthritis, and my mom would take me there. And I remember my mom just helping work this woman's legs and work her arms and helping her exercise and things like that. So when it came time for me to give back and to be part of things and to understand that that's how you make things happen where you live, that's how you make things happen for your family, for your children, for your community, it was a no-brainer.
Ever since I can remember, my parents were totally involved with our community. They served in the church, in the chamber, on the town board, the school board. They drove meals to the elderly. They took people who didn't have cars to their doctor's appointments. They just were totally involved, and that was when they were the happiest. So I knew from them that in order to be happy, you wanted to give back to your community.
In 2011, I found out I could belong to the Daughters of the American Revolution, which is a women's service organization. It was from that I grew into the love of the community work that I do. Their tenets being historic preservation, education, and patriotism. Finding those things in my community and being able to support that through historic preservation grants, doing things for active duty service personnel, collecting books, those types of things. It gave me kind of an outlet for things that I wanted to do outside of my job. That really was a strong interest for me with women who had the same core values as myself.
I would say two things inspired me to be involved in my community. One is a deep sense of gratitude for everything that I have. I've been on the receiving end for a long time while I was taking care of my severely handicapped daughter. And then with my own sickness, I received a lot of help from people. And secondly, I think my experiences of suffering have made me a more compassionate person, and I want to help people who are suffering. This is how I feel I'm best equipped to give back to my community, because everybody is suffering in some way, shape, or form. So there's plenty of opportunities. You just have to be aware.
I would give younger women the advice of never look back, always look forward, never give up, just keep trying. And if you fail, you just get back up and you keep going. And if something seems impossible, it's not. Start one step at a time. Just take it easy, chip away at that rock.
Every conflict is an opportunity. Every one of us has a gift that God gave us, the gift of joy. You can give it over and over and over and over and over. You can make everybody around you happy, and you never, ever run out of it.
The advice that served me as a younger woman has served me along the way is to take care of the little guy. The little guy can be a cause that you're passionate about. It can be a group in society that you see as being underserved. I think the reason that it has served me well, and I have found it particularly good advice to pass along to people, is because it makes you a better individual.
Based on my experience, get out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to reach out and try opportunities that may present themselves to you that you thought you would never do. Because you never know until you try that you might be really good at it, and you might find your passion too.
My advice to younger women would be to never think that you can't do something, whether it be your age, your family, where you're at financially at that time. Where there's a will, there's a way, and there's always that drive. So I say, please don't ever think you can't do something.
I would tell younger women to give the gift of themselves. We are meant to be in relation with others. We should look at this as a positive thing and not something that ties us down or holds us back from achieving our goals, but rather something that makes us fully alive and makes us a better person.
I think women today have a lot more opportunities than I did back here 30 years ago starting a business. When I started, it was kind of like rare that, women got in business overall. So now today, it's very commonplace. Pretty soon we're going to have a female president, maybe, things like that. That was unheard of back then.
Really strong, really smart, really capable women used to be the teachers that taught our kids. They used to be the nurses that took care of our injured. Now a lot of those really great, really strong, really smart women do other things. Do we remember to go back and teach our kids and take care of our injured? Because we still really need that.
I remember speaking with this young woman at Cornell one day, and she had just come back from digging wells in Africa. That's how she spent her summer. She thought of that like it was nothing, but to me, that was amazing, and that it's amazing that this is what young people have to choose from now. Having said that, I don't think opportunity is as far-reaching and as deep as it needs to be.
I believe that there's always been opportunities for women in teaching. However, those opportunities have changed, that you're no longer just in a classroom. You can be an administrator. You can be a district superintendent. You can be the secretary of education. I mean, there's so many opportunities now that were only there for men many years ago.
I think it's harder today for women to say they would like to get married and have a family. The culture has changed so much. However, I don't think human nature changes that much. Of course, I think it's important to get an education and being able to support yourself, but perhaps we need to value family life more. See that our role and job as a mother is big and important, and it has lifelong consequences.
When I first started fresh out of college, when I went on job interviews, it was okay to ask, "Are you married?" Because they did not want young married women because they would become pregnant, and they did not want pregnant women around the office. So that pretty much tells you that there wasn't a lot of opportunities for women. Nowadays, women can go apply for almost any position that they want, and the sky is the limit.